Welcome to Redesigning Health and Home. I'm Meg.
And I'm Carrie. We love creating beautiful, functional spaces and living healthy, vibrant lives. So join us as we chat about simple, practical ways to take care of your body, mind, and your home. Whether it's fitness tips, home decor ideas, recipe, or navigating those big life moments, we're here to share what works for us and what doesn't, with some encouragement along the way.
Let's redesign this life together, one step, one room, and one habit at a time.
Hello and welcome to Redesigning Health and Home. Today we have a very special guest. I'm actually super excited because it's my sister, Debbie from Canada, who's joining us on the podcast today. And we are going to talk about her journey and my journey as recent empty nesters. So I think this is a topic that many of our listeners can relate to. And I'm just really so thankful that you're joining us today, Deb. And first things first, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I just got back from Costco. So it's always a good day when I've spent it at Costco. And yesterday I was at IKEA.
Do you have any money left?
I have no money left, but my husband is still married to me. So it was a success.
Is a success. If you can make it in and out of Costco and still be married, I think that's a huge success. And what's so funny is you don't even have kids at home anymore. And it still costs a fortune.
It's because then we buy things for the kid that lives in the same city as us and drop a few goodies off to, still earn her love. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Well, that's how it works when you're a parent, right?
Absolutely.
That's funny. Well, I know you've got some really exciting things coming up this spring and summer. Tell us a little bit about what you got going on.
It's a big year for us. So our daughter will graduate from education with her teaching degree. So that's coming up like very soon, as well as she's getting married this summer as well. So she is just packing it all in 1 year. Our son will finish his master's in August. And then my husband and I will celebrate our 30th wedding anniversary in September. So it's a big year.
But there's going to be many Costco runs between now and then.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But that's okay. I really enjoy Costco.
Yes. It's a good place to go. So we are going to talk a little bit about being empty nesters. So when did you officially become empty nesters? Because your nest has kind of been empty and then it was full again. So tell us about that.
Right. So our daughter's been away from home for a while now, like still in the same city, but living on her own. Well, now with her fiance. Our son had moved away to go to university, but then during COVID ended up back home for probably 1.5 years. So this time around, it happened in September when we moved him away for university. Daughter's away from like home, and so it's just down to the two of us. And then at the same time, we lost our dog and our cat. So we've become really empty.
Wow. That's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot. Well, I'm very sorry about the cat and the dog. You know, the kids moving away, that's supposed to happen. But yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
that's
the
hard.
timing was just kind of off. Like I am a natural caregiver. It's my purpose and my pride in life. So it took a bit of readjusting because all of a sudden I don't have anybody to look after but the husband, and he doesn't appreciate it the same as everybody else did.
That makes sense. So speaking of that, what kind of emotions, have you been noticing as an empty nester? So it happened in the fall, so you've had a little bit of time to process. But when it first happens, it feels very strange and very different. And so what kind of emotions did you go through?
Well, the first emotion is I missed them so much. Like just that whole being there in their space. And I mean, as much as they were busy and had their own lives, there was at least dinners together and that noise in the house and that checking in. So I missed them a lot. And then I went into the whole fear part of it. Like, are they okay? Because I can't see them. And my son is not the best communicator when it comes to like texting and calling. So there was some fear there. And I was worried about kind of losing a connection with him because of the not talking as much as my daughter does to me. But that didn't happen. I mean, we just found a whole new way to communicate. And it's not as frequent and in depth, but certainly when he was home at Christmas, it was just wonderful to see him becoming the next stage of his adulthood. So, yeah. And now it's very different. I've got more freedom right now than I've ever had, and more free time, I guess that's the accurate way of saying that. So I have a lot more free time. So I'm trying to figure out what to do with that.
Yeah, I get that. And I had some of the same kind of emotions as you. The fear part I can really get because both girls, were in downtown Chicago. And so I think I kind of drove them crazy with how often I was like, text me when you get home. And I was always checking their location. I don't know what I was going to do if they were, because I don't live right in the city. But yeah, just that, are they safe? Are they making good choices? Is the big bad world gonna, do something terrible to them? And that does start to ease, I would say, as time goes by, but also you're like, okay, they are adults. Like we taught them things, they're off doing their own thing and they can handle it. So yeah, I definitely had some of that too. What about your husband? Did he have similar kind of emotions, or what was it like for him?
He went really nostalgic on me. He did a lot of time, like I miss going camping with them, and I can't remember what they were like when they were 12. And did I spend enough time with them? And did I teach them how to change a tire and how to, fix the tap? And we used to camp a lot with our kids, and he missed that a lot. And so he went through a downtime and feeling pretty nostalgic about them. And I mean, he always worries about, are they going to make enough money? Are they going to be feeding themselves and like that kind of thing? But yeah,
Sure.
mostly he went really nostalgic because I was home with them all the time and he worked a ton. So the time is short. Like you have to pack it all in and enjoy every minute. So
And when your kids are little and people say that to you, you just don't get it. And I don't think there's any way to get it until you're on our side of it, where you look back and you're like, oh my gosh, that went by so fast. And so it's interesting that Ron's kind of reaction was very different than yours. And I've heard some people also feel like we're empty nesters, like all of a sudden the age and stage they're in really kind of hits them in the face, like, holy crap, like we have adult kids, like we're done with the whole parenting thing. And, it's kind of like reality hits you.
absolutely. And what we found as well is that both my husband and I have lost our parents now. And so we're the old generation. Like we were talking about our daughter's wedding, and somebody said, well, you'll have to make accommodations or make sure the old people can get in there. And I'm like, we are the old people now. Like that is just a wild scenario as well.
Oh my gosh, right? How about that perspective?
Yeah, that was a shock there. We're young old
Yeah,
people. We're going to go with that.
exactly. And you're the cool parents of the group, so it's all good.
Or so we think we are, anyways. But
Absolutely, absolutely. So how has your day-to-day life changed since the kids moved out?
well, we do whatever we want now, which means like we eat at 8 o'clock if we want to. If we want cereal for dinner, we have cereal for dinner. We lounge around a lot more. This is a horrible thing to say as well, but we probably wear less clothes. There's more times where the pants are off, the bra's off, and it doesn't matter because nobody. And it took the cat passing away for us to get there. I don't know if we thought she was judging us or what, but yeah, that's a new development that I
Oh,
noticed.
that's funny.
That yes, yeah, freedom.
And hopefully your kids are not ever going to hear this episode or they'll be scarred for life.
Yes, they'll be ringing the doorbell before they come over for sure,
Uh,
and no FaceTime calls anymore.
yes. That's so funny. That is so funny. So have you started any new activities or hobbies, or like gone back to kind of some old ones since you have all this free time? What does that look like for you?
Yeah. So the biggest change that we've reintroduced, like my husband's always been very good about exercising in some form or another. I took probably a 30-year hiatus from that. So we've joined a gym. We joined one in October, and we've been going 3 times a week and doing some treadmill and some weightlifting, and we are loving that. I mean, my husband, as an active guy, is so proud and so excited that I'm showing up and doing it with him. So that's been great. I bought myself a Cricut I don't know if you are familiar with that, but it's where it cuts out the vinyl and the letters, and you can make cards and banners. And with the wedding coming, I'm trying to Cricut things.
So 3 times a week at the gym, that's awesome. Good for you. And actually, we bought a Cricut too, my daughter and I. I don't know how to use it, but Jessica knows how to use it. And she's been making really like amazing signs for people for like their birthdays and weddings and stuff. So there's so much cool stuff that you can do with that. But I also heard that you went curling recently. Now, that's probably something that you might have to explain to a few people. What the heck is curling?
Okay, so curling is a very big thing in Canada, but something I had never tried before, which people have a very hard time believing, but it was just something that wasn't in my radar with my social circle. So it's played on a sheet of ice, and you throw rocks from one end of the sheet of ice to the other.
Okay, I have to stop you there because I think people are imagining that you're picking up handfuls of rocks and throwing them down, for anybody who doesn't know. So what does throwing a rock mean?
So it's like a big round rock, and you slide it on the ice, or you don't huck it down to the other end. Although that's kind of what my skill set looked like, but you slide it down to the other end of the ice while other people on your team are using brooms to sweep it to heat up the ice so that the curling rock will go further as needed. I said, I've curled once, so that may not be accurate. So please don't come at me, people, if I butchered that. But that's what I did. I hurled some rocks down a sheet of ice.
That's awesome. That's so fun to try something new, though. And there's kind of a target at the other end of the ice, right? And it's kind of like whoever gets the closest. So I think it's similar to kind of bocce ball and those kinds of games where you're trying to get closest to like a target. So
Yes,
that's amazing.
that was the plan, was to get close to the target. My whole plan was to not fall on my face and just get the rock to the other end. So it was so much fun. I so enjoyed it. And I have to say, 6 months ago, I probably would not have been able to do it. The getting up and down, because you're on your knee and you're kind of in a lunge position. And the gym has helped him like huge with that. And I was able to get up and down. So I surprised myself.
That's awesome. That's so awesome when you can actually see a real life, improvement and it, because it takes a while, right, for you to notice those things, but it makes such a difference, and that's great. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you. I was proud of myself too. I may have, walked around bragging a little bit and using all kinds of wrong terminology and, saying I was going to enter all of these curling bonspiels and things that I have no business entering. But, that's kind of how we were raised. Talk with confidence and the rest will come. Doesn't always work, but we try.
So
Exactly.
when we were setting up this call, I said to you, how about Monday? And your reply was, as long as it's after 7:30, because I'm going line dancing. And I was like, she's line dancing?
Well, not yet. I'm not. So our other sister likes to try everything new. She's the adventure one of the group, I would say. And she's come across this line dancing class, and she's really good at roping us into doing things. So yeah, I'm going line dancing with her tomorrow, and it's going to be interesting because I have no rhythm. I caught myself dancing the other day. You know how you're at home and the music's playing and you're dancing around the house? Okay, first of all, I was just in a towel. And then I'm dancing around and I get a side shot of myself in a mirror. And I now look like our Nana dancing. Like, when did that happen? I need to work on my moves before my daughter's wedding because I'm
And the
going to
thing is
embarrass
that
myself.
in your brain, you look so cool, right? Like
Mhm.
in your brain, you're like, I am killing it over here.
Yeah.
And then somebody videos you and records you, and you're like, huh, that's not how I imagined it at all.
No, that's not the vision I saw. Like, I was watching TikTok videos and I was seeing this people doing this dance, and I was sure I was that cool. I was far from it. Like, it was a real shock. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
line dancing. Yeah.
I think it's really just about the fun.
It's gonna have
We're
to
not
be.
trying, we're not trying to win any prizes over here.
Well, I was
That's
trying to win
funny.
the Cool Mom Award, but I think I think I'm out of luck.
Jeez. Well, maybe we need to practice our moves, together before the wedding because, yeah, we don't want to embarrass ourselves. Perfect. Perfect. So, my next question is, are you using your house in any different ways since the kids moved out?
So we've kind of taken over the basement more than we've ever had before. Like our son's room was down there, and so that was kind of his domain, and we didn't go down there and bother him because he was studying or what have you. Now Ron's got some workout equipment down there, so he's down there. We built a bar downstairs and put a games table down there so we can play cards and stuff with our friends. So we're using the downstairs as well as it's become wedding central right now. There's easels and photo frames and things everywhere that we wouldn't
Mm,
normally do. But yeah, so that's about it. But
fine.
yes, we've taken over the
That's,
basement.
yes. But you haven't taken over Eric's room yet, right?
No, because he'll be done school in August and we're really unsure where life's going to take him next. We're kind of leaving his room as is in case he does come home. Eric likes to read, so he's got probably 1,000 books in that room. So moving them out, if he's going to come back, is not really an option. We'll just hang tight to his room for now.
Yeah. And I think that's probably pretty common for people at our age and stage where you do have that room where you're like, okay, it's still the kids' room. We might want to make it into a guest room or whatever, but we're not sure if they're coming back. Or I know for some people, their aging parents, are moving in and that sort of thing. And so you don't necessarily feel like you can take over all the spaces just yet.
Right, yes. And I mean, he took over his sister's room when she moved out, so she kind of lost her space already. So, but I mean, we have the kids' stuff stored in various spots in the house, but yes, yeah.
So our older sister Barb, she had her kids' stuff, like they're in their 30s and they still had, their treasure boxes and stuff.
Yeah. Well, and what I've found is I ended up with mom stuff and then dad stuff and grandma stuff. So I have
Right.
pictures of people that I have no idea who they are and clothing that belongs to all of them that I'm not sure what to do with. And so it's good to have a little extra room to store that stuff until I can figure out what to do with it all.
Yeah, for sure. So we are sisters and we have two other sisters. So there's four daughters. And Deb and Faye live in Canada and Barb and I live down in the States. And so the caregiving really fell to Deb and Faye because they lived in the same city as our parents. But Deb, as just with her personality and being, I don't know if it's because you're the baby of the family or what, but really stepped up and did the majority of the care for mom and dad as they were aging and that sort of thing. And so when people talk about the sandwich generation, I really think you were in that sandwich big time. Like between your kids growing up and having aging parents to care for, that definitely hit you.
Yeah, definitely. I was in that sandwich situation. When you talk about it being part of my personality, it really is. I mean, I thrive on feeling needed. It's a rush for me. I don't know how to explain that any other way than I get that rush from looking after
Mhm.
someone and knowing that I've made a difference in their well-being. My husband lost his mom recently as well. So losing all of those people that I've looked after has taken some refiguring out what I'm supposed to do to get that rush. So it's a little bit of looking after myself right now, which is, and
Yeah.
I'm not saying I was a martyr and I didn't do that before. I don't mean that. I still enjoyed a manicure, went to the spa and had a massage and did all of that stuff. But just the working out and taking time to research healthy eating more than I would have before. It's just a new time.
Yeah, yeah, it's finally time for you, which is awesome. It's too bad that it comes, with that sadness as well. Yeah, like you said, kind of losing your identity. So I know for myself, and I can only speak for myself, two things: being far away from mom and dad and you and Faye, came with some guilt of like, oh, I'm not there, to help and whatever. But even when I was there, I just have like kind of a lot of fear around the whole medical thing. And so you would be like diving right in there, like head first. And I'd be like out in the hall, be like, do you need any help from out here? Because it's
Uh,
just like scares the heck out of me. I don't know why, but yeah.
had a gradual progression for that too, right? Like when my mom was really unwell and some of the care things that happened, if you had told me 3 years before that I would be okay doing that, I would never have believed you. It was just a natural progression of what was needed to be done and what my comfort level became. So, I mean, when you come home and you're all of a sudden thrust in the middle of it, yes, that would be terrifying. So, I got to grow with the need, not
Yeah. Well, I
thrusted
think
into
that's part of it, but I also, I know that I just have so much gratitude for you doing that. So let's move on before I start to cry. Okay. So now we're going to talk about the house, and we talked about how you use it differently. So a lot of people, when they become empty nesters, they decide that they're going to move, right? They're going to maybe downsize, or I don't know, move to Vegas or something. I don't know. Have you guys thought about moving at all?
not in any kind of serious way. I mean, of course, every spring when you're sick of winter and you're sick of where you've been, you start looking on the market just for fun. We've always talked about having an acreage. My husband is very much the man that should be a farmer but doesn't have a farm. So we have visited getting an acreage often. And then there was always a reason that we didn't. Like when the parents were so unwell, we didn't want to take on more to look after at that time. And then now, when we could do it, we're both like, do we really want that much extra work? Like, we have a very large backyard here in the city. So we briefly revisit it every now and then, but nothing serious. No, we have at this point, we have no intentions of moving anytime soon. We are unsure where we're going to retire, whether that will be in the city that we live in now, or if we'll move to a smaller community in the area or what. And that would be like 5 years or so from now. So right now,
Right.
no, we're staying put.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that you guys have a fabulous yard. Like, I can see why you don't really want to move, because it's hard to find that kind of a yard. So convenient to all the things. The only thing I think is that Ron needs a trap line. He's talked about a trap line forever. I don't know.
He's never trapped or hunted anything in his life, but he watches a ton of YouTube shows of people with chickens or with farms or hobby farms or that would live off the grid. Like, first of all, he's not married to the woman that's living off the grid. Like, if I can't get to like a Walmart or a superstore in 20 minutes, that's not happening. So off the grid is not for me. But yeah, he always talks about these things. And then when I finally say, okay, well, then start looking, like, honestly, I will move if that's what you want. And then he's like, well, no, I don't really want to do it.
Right. So he's living vicariously through the people on YouTube. That's okay. That's okay. Yes.
I agree. I like to see, my neighbors and order a pizza if I want to. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we're cut from the same cloth there. Like,
Yeah.
I talk a big game about like wanting an acreage and stuff, but I think I'd be like, okay, so where's the mall? Like, how far? How far is Home Goods from here?
Yeah. And where's the people? Like, I
Yeah,
don't. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, we're big people for sure. So, is there anything else that you can think of that's changed since you've become empty nesters?
I mean, I'm trying to eat healthier, so
Yeah.
that comes with more money, it seems like. But
Yeah.
other than that, normally our grocery bill is less. And we buy different things. I mean, I haven't bought a frozen pizza since Eric moved. I bought hearts of palm the other day that Ron thought I was insane for, and really he did not enjoy them, I have to say. I buy myself an $8 jar of olives that I enjoy, that I would not have done that before. It would have been a bag of Oreos for the kids instead. So
Right.
the groceries have changed a bit, and just the whole, and doing whatever we want kind of thing when we
Yeah.
want to do it.
Yeah, for sure. And we are always trying to figure out what we're going to do in the summertime, because we're never so sure what the adult kids are doing. Like, if they're going to be able to go on a family vacation. We've been very lucky that they've joined us on family vacations up until now. But every year it's kind of like, are they going to join us this year? Is it just going to be the two of us? And if so, what are we going to do? So I know you had talked about, some ideas that you guys had for summertime, just trying to figure out what sounds good.
Right. Yeah, right. So this summer is very busy with the various family celebrations that we have going on. But
Mhm.
we do struggle with, like, we camped for years. However, we no longer have a camper. We now have a tent. And I am a once a weekend kind of tenter. I have a camp cot now, and that's made a world of difference. And I have a little pea tent. I don't know what else to
I
call
was
it.
wondering if you were going to share about your pea tent.
Yes, I bought this tiny little tent and a little porta potty that I can put inside this little tent if we're camping away from bathrooms. I've not used it, but
Well, I was going to say I saw it set up in your backyard, but I don't know that you've actually ever used it.
yes, I had to set it up and do the photo op because everybody was curious about it. So, and that's was its big debut. It hasn't been used since then. But we try to figure out whether we want to buy another camper, or we've got our really good friends have a seasonal and they're like, you should get a camper and park it next to ours, or do we get a
Mhm.
cabin? Or I'm still in the stage of, I think, where I still want to be able to travel to different places. So
Yeah.
does that look like a camper van, or are we hoteling it? Or so we're kind of trying to struggle like with what we're supposed to do in our free time. And like we were talking about earlier, we have a gorgeous backyard with a hot tub in it and stuff. And I do enjoy spending time in our yard. And I work full time. Packing up to go somewhere Friday night and coming back Sunday doesn't sound like something I would
Yeah.
want to do every weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that makes sense. I know I have always wanted to build a house, like a new build. And then I said to my husband, okay, now I've actually changed my mind. Let's get one of those those prefab cabin kits and build a cabin. And we were talking about, and we're like, we could live off the grid and we could have solar panels and all these things. And my husband looks at me and he's like, do you think we're too old to build a cabin? I was like, if you have to ask that question, I think we just got our
Right.
answer.
I know. And that's so the funny thing last year is my very close friend bought a really big camper. It's beautiful and she's so excited and I'm so excited for her. The irony was that my husband and I were out tenting when she bought it. So we were sitting outside our little tiny tent in the rain, trying to decide if he and I were going to drive back into the city to buy camp cots because we hadn't slept well and the air mattresses deflated and we had spent this uncomfortable night. And so, do we drive back and buy these camp cots? Well, is that a waste of money when we only come one weekend a year? And this conversation went around and around. And with that, this very dear friend of mine sends me a picture of her brand new camper with the slide outs. And she's like, we finally did it. And so my husband and I drove into town and bought the camp cots. And we're like, well, you know, everybody's idea of luxury is different. There's many people that we know that leave the city on the weekends during the summer because our summers are short. And so they take advantage of them. So then sometimes we're like spending time just the two of us, which is fine and great. But then we're like, well, maybe we should be doing something more with this time. So it's just trying to figure it out.
Yeah, for sure. And maybe it's a combination because, last year I was like, I'm going to plan stuff for every weekend in the summer, and it's going to be so great, plan this all out. But then sometimes you just want to hang out at your own fire pit in the backyard, and that's okay.
We do enjoy doing that. Taking the kayaks and the little portable barbecue and heading to a lake somewhere and just spending the day there and then coming home and sleeping in our air conditioned house in our own beds. So,
Yes, for sure. I get it.
uh,
That's awesome. Well, Deb, I so much appreciate you coming on and chatting about this. The whole empty nester thing is very different for everyone, their experience with that. And it sounds to me like you and Ron are making the best of it. And I think that's awesome. You've got two amazing kids, and it's just so fun to watch them grow up. And
I did also want to say that I have been enjoying yours and Meg's podcast when I am on my treadmill. I listen to it. I have to say, you guys have influenced me. I can't remember which episode it was, but I went on my way home from the gym and bought bag salad because you guys talked about that for a couple of minutes and then I was craving them. And Meg was talking about bananas and peanut butter, which I had never eaten before and has become one of my snacks now. And you were talking about decluttering, and I came home and cleaned my living room and washed all my blankets that were laying around and stuff. So you're inspiring me every time I listen to one to do new things and to get stuff done. So good job, you two.
Oh, well, thank you. That's so sweet of you to say that. And I appreciate you tuning in. And I really appreciate you joining us today and talking a little bit about your empty nest journey. I'm going to let you go and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thanks so much, Deb, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for having me.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the conversation between my sister Deb and I on her experience of becoming a recent empty nester. My sister and I geographically live quite far apart. She lives in Canada and I live down in the States, but we're very close sisters. And so it was great to chat with her and catch up a little bit on how she's feeling about becoming an empty nester. And so Meg is back with me now, and Meg, it was so fun to hear kind of some of the new things that Deb's trying now that she's an empty nester and has some freedom. I really enjoyed hearing what she's up to, with her new time, the time for herself.
Your conversation was delightful. I can see that you are sisters and so connected. It was actually emotional to listen to. There were some really sweet, tender moments when Deb was talking about being a caretaker for her family, basically little ones all the way up to your aging parents before they passed. And then, you just gave such an appreciation for that. It was sweet. You really felt that emotion. So thank you for having that conversation with Deb. It was nice to hear all the fun things she's doing. I mean, this Cricut, it was kind of cute. I had to look it up and I saw this baseball thing. So in my head, I'm thinking, oh, Deb's playing Cricut. It must be a big thing in Canada. And then when you started talking, I thought, I am way off here. This is more of a crafting thing. And then to hear that she has a daughter getting married, how exciting. So she's doing these preparations, and then her son, amazing that she has the room just kind of waiting in case he needs that safe place to fall. And then her line dancing and joining a gym, really great stuff. It was wonderful to hear the stories, and most especially just to hear you two just have a really sweet banter back and forth. It was a really sweet interview to listen to. You are wonderful. You have just a wonderful, warm, caring, therapeutic way of talking. And she was just so sweet. It was nice to peek into your family life and get to know Deb a little bit. But Carrie, I want to ask you, do you feel that your way of empty nesting is aligning with the way Deb, shared about her experience?
In some ways, yes, for sure. I had some of the same emotions as she did, just missing having the girls around, of course. And then, the worry about, oh my gosh, are they doing okay? Are they safe? And all that sort of thing. But I would say, I am fortunate in that my husband really helped me to not feel as sad about being an empty nester, because he looked at it as this opportunity for us to, what are we going to do? Like we're going to have this time. What are we going to do? Like, this is exciting. And that was really helpful. I still went through, all the emotions as an empty nester, and there were plenty of tears, of course, at the beginning. But just him being so excited about it being the two of us again was super sweet, and really, I think, helped it to make it so much easier for us. And then, I also really feel like when our kids grow up and they're off doing their adult journey, it's just really important to not make them feel guilty for not, coming home as much or calling as much. They, when they're happy, we're happy, but it goes the other way too. When they see that we're out doing things and not just sitting by the phone and waiting for them to call, right? We don't want to put that guilt on them. And so I think that, they want to see that we're out trying new things or, trying some different hobbies and enjoying ourselves. I think it's best for everyone when you can just kind of let some of that go and try to enjoy it as much as you can.
I think that's so important. That's a really good way to look at that because we're all kind of treading the waters. We first, like Deb was talking about her husband being nostalgic. We do want to do those time hops back and have that experience when the kids were little or in certain ages, but we also then need to do the time hop forward, like you're suggesting. Just enjoy and embrace this time because our time here, like you have said, is limited. We get the one life, and we should do things that are making us happy to show our family, model them that we are in control and we can experience it the way we need to. And it's going to look differently for everybody, like, from what you just said, and maybe a little bit from what Deb said, and maybe the way I'm feeling this time of my life. But yeah, I think it was a great conversation to hear what you're going through. And of course, Deb, it was wonderful to meet her, in this interview. That was wonderful.
It makes me actually want to ask you a question because our girls are 4 years apart, right? So we had that bit of a padding. So Jessica was off and Jordan was still at home. But for you with twins, your kids being twins and off to college at the same time, I could imagine that would be, kind of an extra shock when they're both heading off at the same time. So what was that like for you?
Yeah, they really did. It was a big shock, like you said. But again, they are living their life in the big city and they get to see each other. So that makes me so happy. And it seems like they're navigating their own experiences and they call when they need us and share with us when they can or what they can. And it's so nice to be a phone call away. But yes, it's definitely the all at once was a little, tough, but I am just so happy that they have these experiences and this opportunity to, go for it, be an adult on their own and give it a try.
Yeah, for sure. And you and Gib were both so involved with the kids' sports. And even when they were in college, I would see your Facebook posts that you guys, had traveled down to watch them in their various sports and keep up that connection. So, it's so awesome to see what a tight-knit family you are. And, that you're still traveling to see the kids and do things together. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah, and it's wonderful that we have planes and FaceTime and emails and texts and so much more. So what a time of this world to be doing it. Well, same. I mean, I love seeing all the things that are going on with you, and you are always having the cutest. When you posted, you did the Taylor Swift garden party for your daughter.
Right.
I mean, my daughter and I, we saw the pictures and we thought, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So you are a decorator through and through. So the things you do for your family is just amazing. So nice job,
Any excuse for a party, right?
Mom. Well, hey, oh my goodness. Invite me to that one. That looked wonderful.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well,
Well,
this has been wonderful.
thanks, Meg. And I appreciate having the chance to talk with my sister like that and for you to kind of check in. And it was interesting to hear kind of the pieces that you pulled out of that conversation as well. So thank you so much to our listeners for tuning in today. And we will hear you we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Thanks for listening to the Redesigning Health and Home podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, we would love for you to like, share, and follow along so you can catch us on all future episodes. You can find me, Meg, at Fit, Fed, Feeling Good on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
And you can find me, Carrie, on my website at homestylewithcarrie.com and on Instagram and Facebook at homestylewithcarrie. That's Kerri. And you can find both of us at Redesigning Health and Home on Instagram and Facebook. So join us next time for more inspiration on creating a home and a lifestyle that truly supports you.